Hello everyone, this is Rogue Knight, and today I'm gonna be giving a guide as well as ranking all of the Arcana cards in Hades 2 Early Access. Now, I did make a Hades video for quite a bit, but there's a new big content drop coming very soon, and I figured giving a guide on all 25 Arcana cards as well as helping newcomers and casuals try to figure out what is the best Arcana card and which ones they should use in their build at every run is, I think, a very important thing, and I'm going to share what I believe is the best thing to go for when it comes to Arcana cards. Now, keep in mind, this is just my opinion, and even though I believe I think I made a pretty good list. I've beat the game many times. I killed Kronos many times at many different difficulties, and of course this guide is not really for pros. This is more for casuals, and what I think is the correct way to go for from beginning. Now I disabled all my grasp, and before I go into it, I'll explain how the Arcana system works. Basically, there's 25 cards, each with with a grasp icon to the top right, as you see here. And as you if you claim one of the grasp, it takes up one of whatever storage you have. I think you start off with like 6, I don't know, but anyway, I have 29 right here. To get to very hard to get up grasp, and basically grasp allows you to activate more than one arcana card, more arcana cards at a time. You can activate as many arcana cards as you can, as long as it's under the 29. And I'm going to be teaching you what arcana, and to unlock arcana cards you have to basically buy them with the in-game resources, and it unlocks all the adjacent cards that have not been revealed yet. So before I get into it, I would say right away, try to unlock try to get every single card revealed as fast as possible, so you have all the options available to you from the start. Keep in mind there's no order, so I can do the Titan and the champions, and so it's always good to try to get all of them as soon as possible. um, so try to get all of them as soon as possible, and then later on you'll get the feature to upgrade your Arcana cards, get them at higher level, up to level from level 1 to level 3, and it makes the Arcana cards way stronger and makes you get much more value for the grasp. But I suggest get all the cards unveiled before you upgrade, and I'll be telling you what you should upgrade to max and what is the best things to upgrade. So let's get started right away. This is the first Arcana card you're gonna get, and it's called the Sorceress, and it's while you channel your Omega moves, which are basically all the strong moves you have. I see that's an Omega move, that's an Omega move, and that's an Omega move. So Omega moves are super important in Hades 2, and this, while channeling them, it makes everything move slower for 4 seconds. At level 1, this is 2 seconds. Right away, this is the probably the best or the second best Arcana card in the game. 100% must use. They gave it as the first Arcana card for a reason, because it's basically necessary in order to play the game. I tried playing without this many times. It's basically impossible, especially with the speed modifier on. The enemies are way too fast, and you need to do your Omega moves. Your game plan is always going to be surrounded basically around the Omega moves only. So this is so important. I do think this is the best one in the game, and it only takes one grasp, so this is a must use and a must upgrade. So trust me, don't upgrade this until you unlock more. Then we're gonna go into the next three you're gonna unlock: the Wayward Son, the Titan, and the Furies. And I'll give my opinions on each one. Keep in mind, Titan and Furies take 2 grasp, and Wayward Son take 1. Wayward Son, basically what it does, after you exit a location, you get 2 health, or double if you have no more than 30% health. This levels up to 4 and then 8. So it can be 2 to 4 and then 4 to 8. Uh, this is very good, very good. As you see in Hades, you don't really have much options to heal yourself. And I mean, Hades 2, you don't have much options to heal yourself. And this is basically a constant healing flow that you get throughout the game. I don't think this is necessary or necessary to upgrade, though it only takes 1 grasp, and I think it's usually auto include in most cards. I played without it. I did well without it. It really falls off in the late game, but in the beginning game, if you take damage quite a bit, if you're struggling with Erebus or uh, if you're struggling with Erebus or the second world in game, oh my god, no way, I forgot it. Uh, then you can of course. I need to wait. In Oceanus, of course. I don't know. Uh, then you. This is very good, but I don't think it's very good, but it's not a must use. Don't go for this right away. But it's something you unlock and something you should probably activate. Then with the Titan, this is amazing. I think this is amazing. This is underrated. This starts off, I believe, 2020 and then goes to 30, 30, and 40, 40. This basically increases your max life and max magic up by insane amount. I see I have 50 and 30, and if I activate this, I have 90 and 70. This is insane stats. Absolutely amazing. Just for level 1, only for 2 grasp. I think this is a must use all time. Also, one of the things you must upgrade because the value again is so much, and this is an amazing card. I would activate this all time, and I would activate so far 4 activated, but we'll get to more high priority ones later. Then we have the Furies. Uh, this is not. I think this basically what it does. People in your foes in your cast, which basically is the Q, so it'll be that, will take 20% more damage. I see. I do 20 damage normally, but if I activate the Furies, I did 25. So it's very small damage. It's good when it gets higher. I'm not, and it levels up to I think 40%. Let me see. No, it levels up to 30%. And it's I don't think it's that amazing. I almost never use this and I do amazing. I guess it's good if you have a cast that lasts a long time, but it's definitely not something I think you should prioritize right away, but it is strong. Next we have these 5 right over here, and these are very interesting. Um, we'll start off with and one is right here, the centaur. The centaur, what this is it's a zero cost, and what zero does, they have a special awakening feature. Basically, they cannot be activated on its own, but if you do the requirements, then you will activate this automatically. I'll kind of go a little bit quick with the zero cost because let's face it, you cannot really choose this, though you can manipulate it. This one's actually a very easy one to get. Activate cards that cost 1 through 5. With higher grasp, you'll get this instantly, but this is a pretty good card, but I'll get to it later. First, we have the Huntress. Is when you have less than 100% magic, which is what you use for the mega moves, your attack and special does 30% more damage, right? Yes, do 30% more damage. I have level 2 40%, and level 3 is 50%. This is a really good. This is really, really good. It works for the mega moves. And why is this really good? You'll always have less than 100% magic. Always. You'll get a all the time 50% increase. Keep in mind, this is basically all the time 20%, 30% increase, while this is only a sometimes 20% increase. So this is always better in every way. Very good card. You should always activate this for the most part, though it's not the greatest. This one's one cost. Uh, Messenger, I think it had a change. You have a 3% chance to dodge, which basically negate any single hit on you, and this ups to 5% in max level. Eh, I don't think dodging is that important. Like 5% is not much. It does help you occasionally, but you rather heal than this. I would. This is way better than this, so it's like this works better in end game. Don't really think about this one too much. Then with Swift Runner, this is a must use. I'll say it right away. It makes the dash immediate and your sprint faster. So before this is your dash, then you have the sprint. Now with this on, instant dash and instant fast sprint. Necessary to have. This one and this one I think are basically, you cannot play the game with without saucers and Swift Runner. Must use, and they're so cheap. Go for this instantly. Leveling up is not that important because the immediate part is the important part. Next we have arguably the not that one. Arguably the single best Arcana card in the game. Arguably, I don't think it's the best. I think Sorceress, this one, uh, Swift Runner, and where is it? And the Unseen are the single best ones. But Eternity is really good. This is the fourth best card in the game, and it's perfect because it costs four. Not that many good cards cost four, and it's very good to activate the Centaur. These ones, I'll say right away, I'm not a fan of. But this is really good. This gives you a Death Defiance, which basically, when you die, you restore 40% of your health and magic. Very strong, very good for bosses like Kronos, where you struggle a lot and you get extra lives. This levels up to 3 and you start off with 1. This is by far the one you upgrade the most. Don't care about upgrading any other card. Once you unlock all the cards, only upgrade internally and always activate this. This is a must activate because it's super good. Centaur, you need it's very easy activation. You need a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5, and this activate. This gets you a max health and max magic by 5 every 5 locations. I think it's 3 at level 1. Very strong, but this is kind of a throwaway ability. Don't really try to act like, don't give yourself a bad upgrade to get this, but you'll see all the best upgrades are very varied in cost. So I think it's a very good card to go for. Next, we have Knight. This is an interesting one. Your Omega cast has plus 50 damage whenever it detonates. Usually it does 50 damage, and this will give it 100 damage. At max level, it gives it 150 damage. Very, very strong in damage output. Though I don't think damage cards are that good by number, because it's all about getting percents up in Hades 2 if you want to maximize damage. And to be honest, I don't think the main point of the class is mainly for damage. It's mainly as a utility, and it does do great damage. But this is, I don't think, a great card. And for 2 cost, look, this is way better. This does not apply to the cast, but it's way better. Then with the Moon, um, which basically the only requirements to activate any surrounding card, and this is amazing, because uh because what it does, it makes the Hex, which is your Knight ability, charge up automatically, as well as your use, as every second by 3 magic. Very strong, very fast, and the easiest requirement in the game. And why I say easiest, even though these cards, I'll say, are not that amazing, this card is amazing. And let's get to it. This is probably the third or second most important card in the game. Must use this all the time. This this are necessary to use all the time. You cannot live without it. This restores your magic every second by quite a bit, I think 4. Necessary, otherwise magic builds don't work, and magic builds is how you win in Hades 2. Death is is a very interesting card that changes a lot. This makes the mega moves do a 9% chance to do a critical hit, which does 200% more damage, so like 3 times more. If the last one was different, if your last Omega move was different. It's 3 costs. I don't think this is amazing. I don't think this is great. The only time you'll ever use this, like ever, is to activate the Centaur. But in that, or you activate which one? This one, Divinity. But I would not, because Lovers is simply way better and it's the same cost. Death is not good after they change it. It's okay, but yeah, most builds rely on one Omega move for the most part, and you're not really getting that with this card. So I would not really rely on this or use this like at all. I don't think it's that amazing personally. Next, we're gonna go to Origination, which is a very interesting card. They change this also quite a lot, and it's now 5 costs, which is very expensive. There's a few 5 costs, and usually they need to be. If I'll say this right away, 5 costs need to be game changing. Uh, and this one is very game changing, yes. But what it does, it gives a 50% damage boost if a foe is afflicted with 2 different curse effects from different Olympians. Trust me, this is very easy to proc. So basically, think of this as a, in the late game, always a 50% damage buff. This plus this max level. At both max level, can get you double damage all the time for 7 grasp. Very good. This gives you 30%, I think, at level 1. Level 1 is not very useful. I don't suggest using this if you don't have a lot of grasp. This is more of a late game thing. If you don't have a lot of grasp, these two are necessary. Eternity, Unseen, and as well as these two, these three. I think these are going to be the most important. As you see, as we get down, the cards are much more situational and much more end game focused. But this one, I don't think is very strong. Trust me, it's very strong, but it should not be a top priority because it's only really good when you want to do very complex builds. Next, we have the Lovers, 3 costs, and in Guardian encounters, which are boss fights basically, you take 0 damage the first 3 times you're hit. This starts as 1, 2, and then 3. This is what I think is exponentially gets better if you upgrade it. I think Eternity is much better if you upgrade. This is much better if you upgrade, and Titan is much better if you upgrade. The rest so far that I described, I don't think it really needs to be upgraded that much. The This one should be upgraded, but this one's not very useful in terms of upgrading it. But this is so important to upgrade. 3 times is a lot. Negating 3 hits is so important in like Chrono's fight where every hit does 40 damage. That's like 120 damage you dodge. Think about how much damage that is in health. It's ridiculous. It's a really good card. Not the best card. It's not a must run, but it is a must run. I think it's by far the strongest 3 cost Arcana card, and you should definitely use this. And I'll get and we're gonna continue on to these 10, I think, much more late game cards very right now. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the bottom 10 cards, which I will tell you right away. Right away, you see I did not upgrade a single one. I think they become much worse when you get down to 10. I do think some are really good, some are very good, but these cards are much more situational than these three. These you can kind of like slap on and then instant value for the most part. There is a few duds like Death and Furies personally, but as we get to the bottom 10, we're going to get into some more complex ones, so uh, uh, just stick with me. First, we have the Fates. And these, right now, I'm going to say this is very important. You will start off with one of these like tokens, and which allows you to alter location rewards. And at level 1, this gives you 1, but you can level up to 3. And for 3 grass, this allows you to change one location reward. One location reward. And usually location rewards are it's completely random what you get once you switch it. I mean, there is some things, change of fate. There's a called change of fate. And you can have 3. 3 is okay, 1 is terrible. This is not a good card. This is a terrible card. Out of all the things you can randomize, this is the worst thing you can randomize. As you see, the Champions is a much better card because it's for boons, but this is location rewards. And what can you get? Like a different boon. I guess it's okay with 3, and but 3 costs like this is way better. Like there's a bunch of other 3 costs that are way better. So I don't suggest using this at all. At all. Period. At all. The only time you'll use this if you really want to activate the Seer, which gets you a lot of randomizer. But in that, you need to invest how much? 12 grasp by activating all surrounding cards. And that's not very efficient, mainly because I don't think that these cards are that good surrounding it. And speaking of not that good, let's get to this card, the Boatman. This is, I think, the most noob trap card in the whole game. This allows you to start each night, which is each run, with 200 coins. This level up to 300 coins, and this is 5 grasp. 5 is expensive. There's 4 5s at the game: Boatman, Excellence, Origination, Unseen, and every other 5 changes how you play the game. This amazing, necessary to play the game. This amazing for curse builds, and this you'll see amazing for getting builds that you want. But this is not good, and I'll tell you why it's not good. Money, unlike Hades 1, is not an issue in Hades 2. Because for one, you can just get the gold purse. First thing, I'll get to the keepsakes in another video. As I did not level them all up. It takes quite a bit of time to level them all up. But gold purse instantly gets you, I think, I think this gets you 150 coins at max level, and you'll see money's very, very, very easy to get during a run. You can go runs, not even go for any bits of money, and can afford almost everything. And right before Chronos, I don't think this is good at all. I don't think $200. Yes, it's very good in the early game. You can afford what, like a boon, like one boon you can afford. But why can't you just slap on this one and you get much more value from more boons, right? This might be, I might be wrong about this one, but I say right away, never go for this one. Don't upgrade it. Never equip it. I tried it before. I just don't think it's important. I don't think the money, the coins, the gold crowns, I mean, you'll get them. That's a thing. They're very plentiful in Hades too, especially with more incantations, but not very good. And next one we have is the Artificer. This might be the one of the most complicated cards, and this gives you 1 to 3, which is insane. And basically, this is 3 grasp, and what this does, you will have a random chance that a minor find will turn into a major find. So, what are minor finds? Minor finds are resource locations like Psych, like Grasp, like I've no I oh my god, it's been so long since I used them. I forgot what they're called. What is this called? Ashes, ashes, yes. So it turns a minor find, which are like resources. These are good for long term, but they're very useless in a run, into a major find. Major find are like boons, Daedalus hammers, and also I'm pretty sure upgrades are major finds too, like pomegranates. This is good if you have 3, but 1, I don't think it's great. But I'll say this right away. This is a way better version of the Fates. They're basically the exact same. I mean, is it way better? Because what this does, yes, it is way better. Because this only changes a minor into another minor or a major into another major, while this upgrades the minor. This guarantees that throughout the run, you'll only get really good locations. This is actually very good, though I do think it's not necessary at all. But for the most part, you can control what locations you go into pretty well. I don't think the switching, the rerolling is that important for anything other than boons. It wasn't that important in Hades 1. It's not that important in Hades 2. I would not go for this one, but it is a very fun one if you want to try it. Next off, we have Excellence. And I will actually, these 4 boons I'll keep to last, and I'll move on to Champions. I'll go through this one a little bit later, and the Champions. This is the last of the randomizing boons of cards, and this one gives you 1 up to, of course, level 3. Rerolls of boons this time. Change the fates of boons rather than location rewards and this. This is the best. It's 4 costs. Yes, it's expensive. But if you can afford it, like if you have this much grasp that I have, you can definitely put it and try it out. It only takes a 4 after all. So if you're early game build, I suggest don't go for any of these. Stick to what these are. This is good. This is good. This, if you're going for a build that's very heavy on one god and one god boons, and you're maybe going for duo boons, this is very good for increasing your chances to get it. Is it as good as the ones that directly increase your chance to have increased boons? I don't think so, but this is very good. Definitely, out of all the chances, you should use it. Though it is weaker than many other ones, like as you see, like Death Defiance, 50% damage, uh, restore magic, restore like the other cards are so broken that this one just naturally falls behind. And of course, we have to talk about the Seer. The Seer is probably the saddest zero cost, like all these zero cost. For the most part, zero cost activation requirements are not even that hard. The only ones that are hard are this one and this one. But this one is so bad. Activate all surrounding cards, and then they proceed to put probably the two worst cards in the game, and then a pretty good card. But these are expensive. You're paying 12 to get two rerolls, four rerolls, and max level of anything. With this, I mean, you can get seven rerolls for boons, and that is insane. Absolutely insane. This can be a broken combo, but you need a lot of grasp to make it work. Like, I don't think even I can activate all the amazing boons right now. Let's see if I can. I mean, I actually can. Like, I can do it. Not well though. Like, this is not. This is a little bit scuffed, but yes, I can activate it. It's very good. The seer is really good, very good, but it has one of the hardest activation requirements of any cards. I would not go for this personally if you're a beginner, and it's only really good if you're going for specific builds in very, very tough strategies. I think this thrives there. Next, we have Strength. This is an interesting card. I think it used to cost 5, but they nerfed it. Now it costs 4, which is much cheaper, much more affordable. And finally, there's a competitor for the 4 costs. I do think this stands out like ridiculous. This should be 5 costs, 100%. This one, what it does, when you're below 30% health, you'll take 30% less damage until deal 30% more damage. This levels up to 50-50. There's a big issue here. And one, it's the fact that this only activates if you're under 30% health. If this upgraded to like 50% health, it will be busted. So I get why they did it. It's good. It's good, but you have to be on low health. And to be honest, I don't think most builds give so much health that you can be survive on the 30%. But this is a really good card at max level because of the 50% damage reduction. Half off on all damage is ridiculous on huge bosses that do like 40 damage per hit, 20 damage per hit, and dealing 50% damage at max level, 30% at level 1 at all times when you're below 30%, it's not that great because keep in mind this card costs 2, half as much. You get a 50% all the time. Of course, not for cast, but you get what I mean. This is good for protection. This is like a last case scenario. Very good combo with Titan. These are like made for each other. And I do think this is a very good card. Um, Definitely good, but it kind of gets hidden by the fact that it's surrounded by cards, and it's a very late game card. I do think it's very strong, but it probably should have been uh, put over here, which I think it originally was. I think it originally was like over here, like right in this slot, uh and then they flipped it, which I did not get. I do think this feels more like an early game card. Now we'll get to the last four, and before we get to the three zeros, we'll get to excellence. Excellence is the final 5 costs in the game. There's 4 of them. This is really good. This can upgrade to up to 50% chance, and this basically makes 50% of the boons, 30% of the boons you find, uh, chance to be rare. So basically, common, rare. These boons are leveled up and basically have increased stats, increased damage, and legendary boons are unique because they're very good, and duo boons are broken. Most times for builds, you want to go for either duo boons or some insane synergy that doesn't really need a duo boon. I do think they nerfed duo boons in Hades 2. They're also much harder to get. But Excellence is very good at ensuring that every boon you get will be at least very good in stats. Now, I don't think this holds up to the other cards. Trust, personally, I do. When I played Hades 1, when I 100% the game, when I got every single thing in the game, every collectible, every single thing, I did not find that improving chances of boons was so useful that it was necessary. I do think most times you can manipulate the build you want on your own pretty simply. I do think this is very, very good if you can afford it, which I usually do. I usually put this card on because it's very good, and I think this is kind of the alternative to origination if you're going for a lot of boons. I think doing like these, it's so expensive. 19 is very pricey for going all of these, but you can definitely do it. It's very viable strategy. This is a good card. It's a good card. So as a beginner, don't go for it. And lastly, we have these three cards. These are very complex, but I'll quickly go for it. Let's start with Divinity because it's basically excellence but better. Uh, any boon you're offered have a 10% chance to be improved to epic. Now, this is a very cool card because the effect is not very good. 10% is very low because you're not getting that. Like, you're not getting like basically every 10 boons you have one for epic. That's not a very good chance. And epic, it's good, but I don't know. Like, it's you don't the level, I don't think matters that much. The rare epic, like, these are good. But why is this card so good? You want me oh, it levels up to 20%. Oh, because of the requirement. You have to activate 5 cards in a row or column. Now I think, wow, that's a lot of cards. That's 5 cards. But guess what you can do? You can do Swift Runner, Eternity, Origination, Lovers, very broken cards, and literally you have all the costs 1, 4, 3, 5, and you just need one tune, put on the Titan, boom. For just 15 cost, you can activate Divinity and you can activate the Queen too. Of course, you could put on this, and for 16 cost, you have basically all you need. This is all you need, and this one too is all you need. 21 is all you need. This is really good. Um, but alternative, if you cannot do that or don't want to do that, another very easy road to fill is this one. It only costs 6. You get pretty good effects. This one is weaker than these, but these is such an easy card to activate, which is why it's very good. I should probably level up, but I have no idea why I didn't level it up yet. But it's very good, very good. Next, we'll get on to the Queen. The Queen is interesting because what it does is any boon you're offered has a 6% chance to be a dual boon. Of course, this only activates when you're available to get a dual boon, and it's very, very good because dual boons are the strongest boons in the game. Let me just show you a few of them. It would be you go to the gods, and as you see, the dual boons are really good. I did not claim a lot of dual boons after I was given the quest, but these are very good. Like, I mean, this is not very great. Like, I do think the issue with dual boons in Hades 2 is that they're significantly nerfed compared to Hades 1, which is why I don't think it's the best. You can level it up to what? 10%. It's okay, but it's not the best. It's probably one of the weakest zero costs, honestly, and it has a pretty hard activation. Activate no more than 2 cards that use the same amount of money of grasp, and while this is quite hard to do, you can get away with this pretty easily. I'll show you basically what I think is this probably the strongest thing you can go for, uh, with 21 costs, and this is it right here. And this does fill the requirement, but if you put Wayward Son, it does not fill the requirement. Of course, you can go to other stuff other than that if you have higher grasp. But for 21 grasp, I think this is what you should go with for the most part. And because of that, this gets filled up basically. So it is decent, very good. It's not the best. Lastly, we have Judgment. Judgment is a very unique card, and I think it's very, very strong. What this is, after you beat a big boss, like a major boss, you get 3 random Arcana cards are immediately active. This can level up to 5, which is insane. And let's do the math. I want to do the math. And to requirement, you need to activate no more than 3 cards. Guess what you can do? Boom, 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 boom. That's all you need. These 3 cards will carry you through the whole game. And what this will do is look how many cards are left. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards out of 25 active. That's 19 left. At level 1, how many bosses there are? There's one, two, three, three. You fight 3 major bosses, which will activate 9 more cards. And let's say those 9 cards are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You see, that goes way beyond our limit. This can get you insane amount. And with 15, at max level 15, guess what happens? You can activate basically every single card in the whole game. You can activate almost every single card in the whole game. And that is broken. Like, why settle for a few cards when you can have every single one for very minimal grasp? Why is this good? It's very good for people who don't have a lot of grasp. Pretend they have like 6. You can do this, and boom, you can activate this and get a bunch of expensive cards, 5, 4, for very cheap. So now that we got all the cards explained, I explained why they're good, why they're bad. I'll tell you what you should go for and what you should level up. Level up first. This is what you should do. Sorcerer's number 1 priority. Number 2 priority is Unseen. Number 3 priority is Swift Runner. Number 4 priority is Eternity. And then number 5 priority is Titan. Number 6 priority is I would say Wayward Son. And at this point, it's basically so basically once you get 5 cards done, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this will automatically activate if you do this. So this is a necessary card. You have all your build basic setup. Now you can get into specifics. What specifics you can go for? I suggest going for this, Origination and Lovers, to activate Centaur and Divinity, which are very, very good cards both. Centaur's amazing card, uh, and that's very strong, and you get Queen activated. So I do think this is one option you can go for only 21 grasp. The default build is only 13 grasp, and it's so strong. Alternative, if you have a lot of grasp, for 25 you can activate all the random chance ones. Plus you have availability for forecast, so you can put on strength, you can put on Wayward Son, Messenger, and Huntress. And this is also a very strong build right here. Alternative, you can go a more mid-range version, like a much more budget for people who cannot really afford high upgrades. You go Wayward Son, you go Huntress, you go Knight. There you activate this card if you cannot afford it that much, and then maybe you put on Furies, and boom, for 21, pretty cheap. You can activate quite a bit of cards, literally half of them. Very strong strategy right there. But but that's kind of going over. And alternative, if you want a very good chance, if you want a good judgment build, I suggest going Eternity, Unseen, and Sorceress, and this will basically be good for judgment. And if you want to go for a boon build, you can go this, and then you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then here, and this activates all the major boon cards, and you can activate this to get you even more boons. And if you want even more boons, you activate this to get you buffs for boons and that. And that's also a very strong opportunity. Basically, these are tons of options. All of them are pretty good. Though the one I suggested, the one I'm going to leave up on the screen right now, I do think is the strongest option for beginners in the whole game. For only 22 cost, this is the strongest thing you can go for right here, right here, all what I'm doing exactly, and for only 22 cost. Last thing we're going to talk about is what to prioritize upgrading. In the upgrade screen, instantly go to Eternity Max. Don't go upgrade any card until you get this max. Okay? This has to be max. It's how you win games. This is how you beat Chronos. This is how I beat Chronos. Eternity gives you so much window. I mean, you don't have to do it. Of course, you don't have to do it. But I do suggest this very strong. The next card that benefits most from upgrade is Lovers, though it's not a must upgrade because I don't think you should use this all the time, but it is the best for upgrading it, as well as the Titan is so important to upgrade. I think these three are the most important in terms of upgrading it, and other things that are important to upgrade and also cheap. Sorceress is important to upgrade, but cheap. I don't think you get so much value. Unseen's pretty good to upgrade. Moon is very good to upgrade. This is something you upgrade. Centaur is very good to upgrade. Swift Run is very good to upgrade. Of course, things I did not get. Excellence is important to upgrade. Strength is amazing to upgrade because you get double value. Huntress is very important to upgrade. Death, not very important. Seer is very important to upgrade if you like it. And Judgment, if you do a Judgment build, is also very important. Ultimately, you can decide what to upgrade. If you want to get a bunch of level 2s, that's okay. But I suggest creating this build that I always use all the time when I want to turn off my brain, when I want to do a good build for very cheap. If I really wanted to fill up the whole space, I'll do more something that looks more like uh, I'll do something that looks more like this, and that fills up everything. It's very strong, very good. Uh, but if you're more of a budget player, then definitely I suggest going for this. If you have only 12 cards, and this is if you have only 14 grasp, this is very strong. And you know what? Try to upgrade all the cards. I see all the cards I'm activating right now. Like these cards are all upgrade. I don't upgrade Messenger. This was not an amazing card at all. This is actually pretty bad. It's cheap, but it's not the greatest. Uh, but yes, this was a rundown on all Arcana. Upgrade Grasp High though after like 22, which was what I showed you as what I suggested the build's best build for beginners and players who are struggling. After getting 22, after getting 21 or 22, whatever you want, I would stop. I wouldn't stop, but I would focus less on the grasp. And you know what? This is what I suggest right here. And this was, let me just quickly activate stuff. Let me just activate what I usually use. And this was showing every Arcana card game. Hopefully you learned something. And I'll make a few more videos before the next content upgrade update. I'll probably make an all keepsakes rank. I'll probably do an all weapons rank. And and you know what? This was and if you want to see more content, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like, and hopefully this guide helped people. And basically that was all Arcana cards ranked and a guide to beginners on how to use them. This is Rogue Knight signing off.